Hi guys, this is AnyHowToVideos and welcome back to my Kerbal Space program kind of how-to thingy. Here we're going to talk about fuel, liquid fuel, better and more control and all that stuff. So we're just gonna, if you kind of need to watch the other video to understand this video, otherwise it's gonna be pretty useless to you. So I'm just gonna quickly build my standard kind of kit, just name it Alpha 1, and I know I've spelled that wrong. I want my stack decoupler, advanced SAS. Alright, so we've got our starting out ridge kind of thing. I'm going to go over to propulsion, and then as you can see here, you've got giant tin cans, you've got nice looking tin cans, you've got spacey tin cans, and then you've got your propel. I'm going to start off with the normal stuff. If you want a kind of lander kind of style thing, I would say go for the small fuel tank here. These fuel tanks are used for the smaller kind of fuel thing, so this is small and this is a large one. When I talk about large, it's also going to be using one of these, so you can see the noticeable difference there. So for a lander, you're going to want to use a small kind of engine, so it's not going to use up all your fuel, it's not going to overpower you, but it's going to make it so you can land, and obviously you want some landing struts on there. But today we're not talking about landers, we are going to talk about space. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 of these fuel tanks on. They're bigger, they're better, badasser, and just cooler. And then you've got 2 types of engines you can use with these. You've got the T45 and the T30. The T30 will give you more power, but it'll drain more of your fuel. And then the T45 will get you off the ground, but won't use as much fuel. I'm more of a T45 kind of guy. I don't tend to need power. So here we've got our kind of like base rocket. So we're going to have a look at different variables we can put into this now. So we've got standard rocket. We're going to add a decoupler to the bottom of this. So this is a new second stage. Okay, so now we've got a stack decoupler. We're going to add a tri-coupler. This basically makes it so it kind of thins it out. So if I turn symmetry 3 on now and put a fuel tank on these, it'll add lots of fuel tanks. So I'm going to use these to get me off the ground. This is going to be a liquid fuel engine, and I'm going to use the more powerful ones because, well, they're more powerful. Answers itself really, doesn't it? Yes, it does. I'm going to add some control to this because I've got my advanced SAS. And then I'm going to use one of these. This is a radial decoupler. You normally place these on the sides. They're like the stacked decouplers, but you can attach things to the side. I like to stack them up to give things a bit more room. So now that it's got room to breathe, because I like to have a lot of power. I'm a power hungry kind of guy. So if there we go. Add another set of 3, and then add the same engine so it uses the same amount of fuel. So as you can see here, this looks quite epic, but the problem is it's not really aerodynamic. So if we go to aerodynamics and then go to standard NC, sorry, my bad, nose cone, and just add them on, it makes it more aerodynamic. Okay, so if you've watched my last video, you need to know that you need to connect things to each other. So if you go back into here and get a struct connector, you can just basically connect half a dozen of these to everything if you're overprotective of your spacecraft. They're normally pretty safe anyway, but just keeps it even more safe. And yeah, so there we are. We've got a lot of stages here. Because I've placed two decouplers here onto each other, they've put them in different stages. I'm just going to put them in the same stage because there's no point of having them at different stages. And then what else do we need to do? Oh, we need to add these. Safety enhancer. Okay, and as you can probably remember from the last video, we place them down there and these down there too. Actually guys, I just thought about these. Sorry about that guys, I'm back. So we're going to have these on the outside as power driven rockets, so they'll use up more fuel, then we can dump them, and then on the inside we're going to have a smaller, more like fuel efficient rocket. So we've got all our stages here. We've got a one there, and just delete that, and just looking over everything looks good to go. Hopefully this should get us into space. The first thing you want to do is to be able just to get out of the atmosphere. That is the hardest thing to do. So I'm going to launch here. So as you can see, this is a lot bigger than the other spacecraft. I'm just going to press T here because it's quite weight. So as you can see, this is flipping around because it's quite heavy. I'm going to put my throttle at full because these liquid engines, they rely on throttle. The more throttle you put in, the faster it's going to go. Okay, so I'm going to do it again and press space and then space again, which will set us off. And there we go. And my middle rockets have not started and I've blown. So as you can see, it's not really always so easy to just make a workable plane. On the bright side, my Kerbals are still alive. I'm just going to restart flight and make it easier. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to drag these down to here. Press T again and take 2. Turning fuel up, press space, and here we go. We're good to space, guys. Don't miss us. Right, so because this is going to be a long trip, these are as fast as the other rockets, but they soon build up. Here on your nav ball, you're going to get these pink dots and these green dots. This one here tells you, it's kind of like the positive effect of what you're doing now. So here at the green it says surface, so this is going away from the surface. There'll be one at the other side of the nav ball where it'll be green and have a cross through it, and it will take you back to the surface. And it's the same when you're in space. If you're on orbit, the green with the dot in it will make it so you get a bigger orbit, but the other one will make it so you get a smaller orbit. And we're getting into the first stage, getting past the first stage of the atmosphere now. Probably might not make it into space, but let's hope, yeah? So next time I press space, I'll go into stage 5, which will release these rockets here. When you get up here, you start to become quicker and more faster because the gravity isn't as big. So here fuel's starting to run out and these gonna go. I'm gonna hit space, get rid of them as fast as possible because they're dead weight. So now it says orbit. We are not past the atmosphere yet, but it's still going. I'm going to press space again, and space again, and it'll release my other rocket. And then I'm going to press space again, but I'm just going to pull back on the throttle. We are officially in on space. So if you press M, it'll take you to your map view, and it'll tell you what you're looking at. So your apparatus, sorry, your apoapsis, don't know if I pronounced that right, is your highest point of your flight, and you'll get a periapsis, which is inside here. This side is your lowest part of your flight. Obviously your lowest part will be this part because you can't go through a plane. Well, sorry, planet. So if we turn off SAS and start shifting to the right and turn it back on when we're back on this dot, just using the nav ball, if you didn't see that, you just click it down here to turn it on, and then just turn up the throttle a little bit. You start to see that it's changing, it's getting higher, and you're getting quite an arc. Sorry, I've got tickly cough, guys. I'm just going to cut off the power now, because it's quite useless if you're trying to fly and make an orbit when you're not at the apsis, because basically when you're trying to get a circle in space, because what you're essentially doing is just free falling, but you've got enough momentum to keep on going. Whatever you do at the apsis will kind of won't have an effect over here, but on the other side it will. So if, for example, we look at this circle here, if I started burning on the green dot here, when I was at this side, it'll stretch out this side over here. But if I was burning on the other side of the nav ball, it will pull this side in. So here you can see all my debris kind of floating down. I'm just going to fast forward time a little bit now till we're at the top of the apoapsis. We probably won't have enough fuel to get anywhere, but as you can see now, this is changing, so that's because we're coming back down now. I'm just gonna get around there and turn up the throttle. Well, I say throttle, and as you can see, it's starting to make it wider. Try not to get a perfect circle at first. If you get it by accident, that's no problem. We're on 2 tanks of fuel and we're starting to get somewhere. And obviously the closer you get to the apoapsis, it will make it so it's easier to kind of get at orbit. And it'll start to expand and expand and expand. You're going to make sure that your orbit's not going to be too low at this end. Oh, sorry. I should have got a drink of water or something. And as you can see now, it's starting to get out, so we just want to get this around 200 to be safe. And that'll do. So here now we've got an orbit. The orbit's a little bit skew, like this side's really close, this side's massive. So if we applied the same effect of what I said last time, so if we go over to the apoapsis and go towards this little beam here, it's like a circle, green circle. They have names, but I've completely forgotten what the names of. It'll stretch this side out, but I don't want to do this. I want to pull this side in, so I'm going to fast forward time till I'm at the periapsis. Can never pronounce these. Scientific people, try not to skip it too far. So we're coming up to the periapsis. I'm just gonna get as close as I can, and that'll be enough. Okay, so if I turn off the SAS now, and here that's the one with the dot in the middle, so I don't want to go for that one because I want to pull in the other side. I want to go for the one that's got a cross. So if I go there and then press T, turn that on, zoom out so you can see, and then as I turn up the throttle it'll pull in this. You can normally just look, so that's around 200. When you tend to get a circle you will run out of fuel. So okay, so that's near enough an orbit. That's a goodish orbit. If that you get that on your first go, you need a medal. And so I hope this tutorial's helped you. Hopefully next I'll get a moon landing tutorial sorted. And best of luck. If you need any help, please comment in the comments below. And obviously guys, if you're out of fuel, you've got no way of getting back to Earth. Even if you do disconnect and everything, you'll just keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, kind of like all these guys and all these guys and that guy there. So if you need any help, please comment and subscribe if you want more videos, and hopefully I'll get some more tutorials and go to Tyler. Yeah, Tyler.